Well, if you're looking for a new read, how about reading something that's set right here in Toledo, inspired by someone in the Glass City, and even written by a local author? Teresa Konwinski and Lisa Long are with us this afternoon to explain. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We
Thanks
got a couple of copies here. This is the Survivor's Circle. So tell me about this book. You know, what is it all about?
As my former background is a nurse, and I have encountered many patients as well as happen to have family members and friends who have been victims of sexual assault. And one day I was just thinking about it, and I just really felt mad that this had happened to these people, you know. And I thought, what would happen if one person decided they were going to seek revenge? You know, and that's kind of got me thinking about.
This is a good book topic, right?
Yeah. So, and Lisa Long has been a friend of mine for many, many years, and she's a former Toledo police officer. So I kind of relied on her for information about how to handle evidence, or things about autopsies, or that kind of stuff, so that I could make this as realistic as possible.
You got to do the homework, right, and the research. So when she approached you to write this book, what were you thinking?
Well, one night at band practice, she sang and I played guitar in a church band. And one night she told me, I'm going to write a book someday, and I'm going to use your name in the book as the main character. And I just I was humbled and just like, well, okay. And so over the years, she would text me and ask me questions. How do we book evidence? What's the process? And just the inner workings of the police department. And a few years back, she actually presented a draft copy to me, and I was just amazed. I took it with me. We went south for the winter, and I read it, and so she wanted some feedback. And so can I tell him?
Sure.
Okay. So she would ask. She goes, I want your honest feedback. And the one main thing that stuck out was when we had a call and we would need medical, we would ask for a first responder, we'd ask for a life squad, we'd come over the air. Well, in her book, she would use the phrase, I need a bus. And to me, it struck me. I'm like, you would hear that on TV shows. NYPD. Hill Street Blues.
And you're like, that's not how.
No, we don't ask for a bus.
But that's that's exactly
good.
why you use. You have to have these resources and get the facts right, so that when we're reading these at home, we are getting a legitimate, if you will, experience. So
exactly.
When this all came together, this is a work of fiction, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But based on some things that you encountered throughout your life.
Exactly. I think because sometimes sexual assault, people don't even really want to report it. It's a devastating crime, and I just felt like I have to give some voice to that. I had to it took a long time to write, to be honest, because right about the time I started writing, all of the Me Too stuff started happening. And so I just thought, I can't have this in my head day and night, hear about this, read about this. And so I had to kind of push it aside for a while, and then got back to it, had it edited, and here we are today.
Yeah.
So.
And so you are enjoying it.
It's fun read. It's interesting. But I full disclosure, I was not a homicide detective in real life.
And not in real life.
Not in real
That's what
life.
you say. It's fiction.
It's fiction.
But in a book, you get to be a homicide detective.
Yeah.
Right? So there you go.
Yeah.
What do you want people to get out of the book? Once they read it.
Mostly entertainment, to be truthful. I didn't want to get too preachy, so to speak, in the book, but I wanted to tell a story about how some women, after a sexual assault, are able to pull their life back together, but some people are not as able to pull their life back together. And of course, one of the main characters in this story just rapidly decelerates into a very bad situation. And I want people to know that there's help available, that there are resources. The Survivor Circle is a support group in this book, and of course, the YWCA has had rape crisis services for years and years and years. So. I hope that people, if they read this, feel like they can relate to these characters and understand that there are resources available, and that everything doesn't have to be a life sentence when you've suffered a sexual assault.
Yeah, so really interesting topic and interesting backstory too to hear about that. People want a copy. Where can they get it? They can get it, of course, on Amazon, but they can get it locally too.
Yes, at Gathering Volumes, which is located on east-south boundary in Perrysburg, Ohio. Denise Phillips, who owns the store, has been very faithful about supporting local authors.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how many local authors there are. There are some really good writers in this town. And Denise has been very faithful about supporting us and has a whole section devoted to local authors. I'm going to go there after this, and we're doing kind of a book launch tonight.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and then on Sunday is the Authors Fair, which Denise helps puts on with of Rust and Glass, a local group of writers and other artists. Here Northwest Ohio is very blessed.
Yes,
you know. So.
yes, some really great writers and some really great places to get these books too. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you, Amanda, for having us.
And you too on Homicide Detective.
Upgrade.